Could your Bitcoin profits be tax-free? And this is a big landmark case in Australia at the moment where the judge has ruled that Bitcoin is to be treated as cash as opposed to an asset or property. This completely flips on its head how the Australian Tax Office has been treating Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies at the moment, and could mean that we won't be paying capital gains tax in the future. And also, since this case was back in 2019, they would have to repay anyone that has paid capital gains tax since 2019. This is big. Let's get into the details here. Hey everyone, I'm Peter Buey. If it's your first time here, hit that thumbs up, like, subscribe, notification bell. I talk everything about Cardano and cryptocurrency here, and we'll be covering this case in more detail. But let's get into the details here. I think this video here from the Tax Invest Accounting Instagram page says it really well. So let me just play this clip for you guys.
A landmark ruling in a Victorian Magistrate Court lead to the ATO paying out $1 billion to taxpayers who have held Bitcoin since 2019. Let's talk about this. So there was a recent court case in a Victorian Magistrate Court where a former AFP officer has been charged with stealing 81.6 BTC back in 2019. At the time, it was worth $492,000. It's now worth $13 million. So the important point is this magistrate, when handed down this ruling, has stated that this is to be treated as property and treated as cash, not shares or gold. So this former AFP officer is to be charged with stealing cash. Now, this flies in the face of how the ATO has treated cryptocurrency since 2014. So since 2014, they have stated cryptocurrency is an asset like shares or property. When you sell or dispose of that, it triggers a capital gains event that you must report to the ATO. So a disposal of cryptocurrency includes the following. It includes gifting it to someone else. It includes using it to purchase goods or services. It includes cashing it out for fiat. It also includes exchanging one currency for another. So if that happens, it triggers a capital gains event. You then report that to the ATO on your tax return. And if there's a profit, you pay capital gains tax on it. So if this ruling is actually upheld, how we've treated cryptocurrency, specifically they're stating Bitcoin, is going to be thrown on its head, basically. So they're talking about possibly $1 billion in refunds to taxpayers who have held Bitcoin since 2019, because it goes back to the date when this happened. Now, this is just a major ruling. So they're expecting an appeal by the end of this year. And if it is upheld, then what's going to happen? This is the interesting thing, seeing how the ATO has actually treated it up until now. So they're stating Bitcoin at the moment, but it could further extend to all cryptocurrency. So this is definitely one to watch about a possible rule change to cryptocurrency in this country. As always, if you haven't done so already, hit the follow button for more.
Yes, so really big news here, guys. And if you haven't followed their Instagram account yet, you can get to it at Tax Invest Accounting. Absolutely brilliant tax and investment advice on their channel. They're up for 5 awards this year. I've been following them for quite a long time, and I get a lot of tidbits about tax and whatnot, and it's something that you have to live with. So if you're in Australia, follow their account. They're an absolutely brilliant accounting firm. But I've got the details here around this as well. So I did look this up. I did verify that this was all true, and I couldn't find the actual court case. But this article here comes from the Australian Financial Review. They happen to be one of our clients as well. But this here is a breakdown of what the judge had said over this particular case. So let me read over the article here for you guys. So a judge says Bitcoin is just another form of money, exempt from capital gains tax. The judgment, made public for the first time here, was made as a part of a criminal case brought against a former Australian federal police officer who allegedly stole 81.6 Bitcoin in 2019. Then valued approximately $492,000. Today, it will be worth just over $13 million. Absolutely insane. What a way to hold and hodl your BTC by letting the Australian Federal Police look after it for you. And then comes back to you when it's all good. All right, so here we go. The Victorian Magistrate Michael O'Connor said Bitcoin was property, but akin to Australian dollar rather than foreign currency, shares, or gold. The implications is that just like exchanging a $20 note for 2 10s, no tax is payable. If upheld on appeal, the interlocutory decision could mean taxpayers who paid capital gains tax on Bitcoin transactions are eligible for refunds collectively worth as much as $1 billion. This is absolutely insane. So I suspect the ATO is going to pull out all of their lawyers to fight this in the appeals court so that they don't have to pay out this $1 billion. But in reality, $1 billion isn't that much to pay back in refunds. But the main thing here is that it's going to change the entire Australian landscape when it comes to taxing cryptocurrencies. The reasoning totally upends ATO's view because it was held that Bitcoin is Australian money. He said, that is, it is not a capital gains tax asset. Therefore, acquisition and disposal of Bitcoin has no tax consequences. And if this actually goes ahead, it will make taxing and reporting for digital assets such as Bitcoin so much easier as well. Let me go further down here. I've got some other highlights in the quotes for this particular case. Recognizing crypto as property would either make huge parts of the digital economy into property, such as points and space invaders, likes on Instagram, or would be inconsistent with other laws. In his judgment, Judge O'Connell said there was no case law suggesting cryptocurrency was property for the purpose of criminal law, although it was routinely the subject of restraining orders in proceeds of crimes and prosecutions. There have likewise been a number of family law cases that treated cryptocurrency as property for the purposes of family law settlements without addressing the underlying issue of whether cryptocurrency is in fact property. So all these court cases previously, whatever it might be, there was no precedent stating that cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, was property or cash to be treated as cash. So that's what they're arguing now. And this seems like it's going to be the very first case which actually defines what it's going to be and then define all the other cases in the future of how cryptocurrency is treated and then eventually all put into law for Australia. So all the legislation that's going around at the moment to try and change the way that cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, Cardano, whatever it might be, how that's going to be treated in the legal landscape in Australia can be all defined in this particular court case if it gets passed through. I really hope it does because a lot of people do treat cryptocurrency as cash. The idea of being able to use your BTC to buy a cup of coffee is really appealing. You could possibly participate in DeFi, just like putting money into a bank and earn interest off that. So that is the direction that the market and the industry would like to go. And if this ruling passes through, it has massive impacts for everyone here in Australia. And a lot of laws like this, once there is a precedent that really is cemented in one other countries can use that because they follow common law. They can use that precedence to actually push through into their legal systems as well. The Australian legal system actually follows British common law, and we borrow a lot of precedences from their legal cases in the past. So they could also use that from our own legal system and pass it over to their court cases. So this is a really interesting landscape that we are in at the moment, and it's definitely something I'll be watching carefully and reporting on. The Australian court system does have multiple different levels here. So it's going through this state court system at the moment. So it will pass up through the levels of the court here through appeals and may very well make it up to the High Court of Australia, where they will be making the final judgment whether Bitcoin could be treated as cash or as an asset where it will be subject still under capital gains tax. Really big news, guys. Hopefully we get a positive outcome here for the cryptocurrency industry overall, but I'll keep you guys up to date with everything that's happening in this space here. Make sure you hit that thumbs up, like, subscribe if you haven't done so already. I'll see you guys in the next video.